It's never too late to reach out.
At the end of the day, everyone deserves to have energy in their household, and
We're here to help as much as possible. Disconnection is ultimately our last resort. We want to provide the energy to your home so that you're safe.
Inform, connect, inspire. The Post Podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Post Podcast, where we aim to inform, connect, and inspire our community members. I'm your host, Shamsa Mohan, and today we're joined by Ashley Pereira from Toronto Hydro. Toronto Hydro plays an important role in delivering electricity to our city and helping customers access programs and support energy affordability. We're excited to have Ashley with us today to discuss our energy assistance programs, how to reduce energy costs, and help us understand the resources available to Toronto residents.
Thank you so much, and welcome to the neighborhood. So, can you tell us a bit about yourself and about Toronto Hydro and the work you do?
So my name's Ashley Pereira. I'm the manager of Accounts Receivable Operations, specifically overseeing the collections department. I've been in the utility space for over 13 years and working in Toronto Hydro for majority of that time. Toronto Hydro, as you know, provides the energy for this great city of Toronto. We actually are your local distribution company that distributes 18% of Ontario's overall energy across this city. And one of the things about me is the reason I'm in collections is because I want to help our customers. Ultimately, there's a lot of opportunity to help those that are struggling or unsure of how to manage their bills and get them up to that point of success on their account. And I really enjoy those customer interactions, educating customers, and making sure they're in the right place at the right time with their bill.
That's amazing. Do you have any tips on how households can reduce energy costs and save on their hydro bills?
Yeah, so one of the things is your blinds and curtains. So in the warmer season, so your summer, or if your spring is warmer, closing your blinds during the day to not let that sun in, which will increase the heat in your home. And then doing the flip of in the winter, making sure that you open up your curtains and blinds to let that beautiful sun in so it actually warms up your home.
Wow, I didn't think of it like that. That's really fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
Just that little thing of closing and opening your curtains make that big of a difference.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with like the heating and cooling registers in your home, opening up those vents in the rooms that you're using and closing them off in the rooms that you're not using so that you're focusing that heat or cooling distribution into the areas where you are.
Okay. So when you open and close them, do they change the airflow? How does after a certain rooms are filled with a certain amount of energy that you want to use, doesn't it continue producing? Because
Once you hit that temperature, um, so what you're doing is instead of it having to distribute the air to all the rooms, you're going to just concentrate it into the rooms that you need. So it's going to get to that temperature quicker that you need,
well,
whether
that's
it's heating or cooling.
it's good to know. It's good to know. How does someone know if they're being close to being disconnected, and what's the process Toronto Hydro follows before that happens?
So first and foremost, I want to start out that saying disconnection is ultimately our last resort. And I'll walk you through kind of how to know and what to do before it even gets to that point. So we are regulated by the Ontario Energy Board. Every utility, not just Toronto Hydro, is regulated by this board, and we follow a set of rules and regulations that are outlined by them. So when your account becomes past due, you have a due date on your bill. Once that account then becomes past due, you receive an account overdue notice. And this will tell you that you have X amount of dollars past due and ways to make a payment with us, contact us, and so on and so forth. So you can get that in the mail or via email. Um, and then from that, there's at least 7 days that pass if we do not receive a payment before we will issue a disconnect notice. And again, that's a regulation. We follow these timelines outlined by the Ontario Energy Board. And After that 7 days has passed and we haven't received that payment, we would then notify you with a disconnection notice. The disconnection notice would outline um, the amount that it's past due. It would outline the earliest possible date of disconnection and the latest possible date of disconnection, but it also gives you a 14-day notification period. So if I send you a disconnection notice on June 1st, you would have 14 days from that point to contact us and reach out and work with us to set up an arrears payment arrangement. We would connect you with one of our intake agencies like Neighborhood Information Post or any of their affiliates that they work with so that you can start financial assistance program applications and so on and so forth. I think it's really important, even before you get to that disconnection notice point, to contact us. The minute you're starting to fall behind, or even you're struggling, you may just be even looking at your bill, you may be current, but you're just like unsure of how to make that next payment, reach
Mhm.
out because we can set you up on an arrangement. We can connect you with agencies that'll help you manage your finances and grants and programs that are available to you. And we're always there.
Because at the end of the day, nobody wants to see someone disconnected.
No, like I said, that's ultimately the last resort. It's something we want to try and prevent. And that's why we do try and do multiple touch points with our customers to try and get out there and make it known that, we're here to help as much as possible.
So in this process where let's say they're falling behind on bills and they're not able to pay the full amount, and like you said, you talk to the client and try to figure out a plan that works for them. Could you like talk about kind of the process of how you will those step by step of how it goes through?
Yeah, so if they're falling behind on their bills and they're in arrears, as we call it, um, for residential customers, we can set them up on an arrears payment arrangement. Um, and what that looks like is if you're an eligible low income customer, you would pay 10% of that arrears as a down payment. So if it was $100 in arrears, you'd pay $10 for simple math anyway. And so then you would pay that. And then the remainder of your arrears would be spread out over 16 months
Oh,
equally. So you would then be expected every month on your bill due date to pay your installment amount and your current monthly charges.
okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So there's, as you said, there's a lot of different ways that people could approach it as long as they're approaching you and not like kind of like avoiding you, that you guys can actually help them and make us like a plan for them.
Yeah. And I think, it is really hard when you're struggling and it can be overwhelming.
Mhm.
And sometimes the human nature is to not reach out because you are struggling, you're just not sure what to do. The sooner you reach out to us, the more time we have to then see what options are available to you to make sure that you get in and apply for that financial assistance program, see what you're eligible for, because it's way better than waiting until the 11th hour when you know you have a disconnect window that you're working towards and now it's panic mode.
Mine, well, yeah.
When we have more time, then it's actually a much better experience as well because you don't feel as much pressure because in that application process, you have to, get income statements and that can be overwhelming and daunting too when you're struggling to keep up. So I do encourage from the moment you get that account overdue notice, reach out, contact us. You know, we're open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we always do want to help our customers. And the earlier we are able to intervene and come up with some kind of solution that works for them,
Hmm.
the better it works out.
It's amazing. Do you guys also do in person or is it just online or on call?
On call, we don't have a lot of in person appointments. office locations are across the city. Our customer experience office is closer to the downtown core, but a lot of it can be easily done over the phone, via email. We work with customers for the social intake agencies that handle all the financial assistance programs. They do have in person opportunities that customers can come in if that's easier. But even just picking up the phone, we will find a solution. If coming and meeting us in person is what works for them, we'll definitely work to accommodate that.
Amazing. When they about to come and call you guys, is there anything they should have on hold just when they call you to make the process as smooth as possible?
Yeah. So we always validate our accounts for a privacy perspective. So it should be, the account holder calling in, having their account number, their service address, phone number, date of birth, all these things ready and able to answer. So then we can get right into your account and see, you know, the status of it and then where we can go from there.
Okay, that's that's good. That's really solid. But did you talked about the disconnection? Is there anything different you guys do during the winter by chance?
So, we have what some coin as the winter disconnection ban for residential customers. This is where utilities are not allowed to disconnect residential customers from November 15th to April 30th every year.
Every year. That makes sense because that could be life endangering.
Yeah, yeah, and we live in Canada and it gets really cold, right? So that's been in place for quite a few years, and again, that's a regulation by the Ontario Energy Board that all utilities follow, including Toronto Hydro. And on the flip side of that, um, after April 30th, residential customers that do fall behind and in arrears and receive a disconnection notice are eligible to be disconnected from May 1st to November 15th. So that's when we really want customers to reach out and work with us in advance of that May 1, right? So in the
That's a
winter,
big, huge
yeah, in the winter, that's when we really want to, work with you in advance before it gets to that point. And so that we can be ahead of it. And again, not at the 11th hour, just trying to figure things out for you.
Do you have any like stories about people that where you were able to reach out and they made a big difference?
Yeah, I think, we've had some scenarios where we will always try and, you know, do the best that we can by our customers. I think I have neighborhood information posts on speed dial some days when, a customer is facing that disconnection imminently. We've even gone so far as if the customer, in one scenario, authorized their Ontario Work social worker to speak to me, and then we were able to work with that customer and the social worker, and we were actually able to find out that they were eligible for funding that they were not receiving previously, and it was applied to their hydro account in conjunction with some LEAP funding, so low energy assistance program funding, which is another financial assistance program. And they were able actually to put their account down to a zero balance.
I'm so happy that the client got the help and assistance they needed. They must have been very relieved once they.
Yeah, and it was a very high pressure situation. They're rightfully stressed out at that time. I mean, I would be if I was in that situation. And the fact that we were able to ask the right questions, listen to the customer, hear them out, and figure out, okay, what can we do here? Sometimes it may seem like it's, outside of the box or unconventional, but sometimes you don't know until you ask, and being able to speak to that customer directly and their social worker, you really got an understanding for what was going on and being able to figure it out in the end. And we set them up for success. They got on Ontario Electricity Support Program as well, which is a great program where you receive credits on your bill every month when you're an eligible low income customer. And so now it helps this customer manage their bill going forward.
That just shows sometimes the best thing you can do is just reach out.
Yeah, and it can be overwhelming, and I think a lot of people fear that they won't qualify.
Well, yeah,
And I always say, what's the worst that
it
can
can
happen?
happen. The
Right.
worst that could happen is just they just say no. They're not gonna like attack you or anything,
Yeah,
right?
and we'll always try and, advocate the best that we can to see, what can we do. We really do want to work with our customers because at the end of the day, we want to provide the energy to your home so that you're safe.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone deserves to have energy in their household, and it's great to see that people like you are on the lead to making sure everyone has that in their households
To the best of our ability.
with their abilities. Like we were talking about earlier, you did mention how there's ways to save on electricity in other ways, such as the curtain. Is there anything else they can do?
I think keeping your degrees in your home tighter. So like 18 to 20 degrees is a nice comfortable range. You don't want to um, put it way too low and then try and get it too high. So if you want your temperature to be 25 degrees in your home, you don't want it overnight dropping down to like 16 degrees. So then in the morning, it has to really pump excessively to try and get the heat up and vice versa. So like, when you're at home, keeping it between that 18 to 20 range and then just dropping it down at night to 16 when you're sleeping because it's a little bit better and not a huge range of difference and it keeps from your furnace having to cut in over and over again
Yeah,
to
I
try
mean,
and
mostly since we live in Canada, the weather is so unpredictable.
Mhm.
So yeah, just having keeping it to close ranges, I think that just helps it. Also, like keeping the energy at the same level. Because yeah, like you said, having it drastically go up or down could make a huge difference.
Exactly.
And plus, also like you're living in the household, you could like waiting for the house to heat up or cool down
Mhm.
itself is already kind of tedious.
Yeah.
So just finding a range you like and comfortable with.
Yeah, and if you're not home, it doesn't make sense to have your AC on
Hmm.
a full blast or your heating when you're just heating an empty home, right? So if you go away on vacation or away for the weekend or something, drop your temperatures down to a lower level so that you're conserving your energy in your home.
Is there any like special features you would recommend people to have in their home relating to ACs and heaters?
Well, I think one thing customers can do is in 2025, Toronto Hydro partnered with the um, Save on Energy program. And this is a great one that customers can check out on our website or on saveonenergy.ca. And there's a couple of avenues they can take where they can get an energy assessment of their home, where a qualified person will assess, the heating and cooling efficiencies of their home. They can get free light bulbs and um, power bars and assessments on their fridges and stuff. And then there's also the energy affordability program, which is geared towards those eligible low income customers. And they could even qualify for free energy efficient freezers, fridges, HVACs.
Really?
So yeah, it's a really, really great programs and opportunities that are out there. And I think not enough people know about it. And that's why Toronto Hydro partnered with them to kind of promote and educate and get that word out there. Because it does come down to you need a good energy efficient home, like from your windows and everything. That you're if you're keeping tight on your heating and cooling, but your bill is still
So,
high,
yeah.
maybe it's because some of the heating or cooling is actually getting out of your home, or maybe it's because that old fridge is really pulling a lot of
Yeah.
power and you don't realize. So it's these things that you know. Nobody's necessarily an expert just because they own a home or they rent a place. So it's bringing in these experts to help you and, build your knowledge on how to make your home more efficient.
And to call this person, it's free.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. We'll definitely have the phone number
Yeah,
description.
the website and that we
Yeah,
can pass that
because
along.
that's really useful. And this is not just for homeowners. This is for renters as well, like you said,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
Oh my gosh. So, your services also go to not just homeowners and to renters as well, like
that's
everything you
right.
mentioned earlier.
Yeah, so you don't have to own the property if you are a tenant and you are responsible for paying the hydro bill for the electricity. As long as the Toronto Hydro bill is in your name. So if the Toronto Hydro bill is in Ashley Pereira's name, then I can apply for financial assistance programs and so on and so forth, set up payment arrangements and that because I'm the one responsible for that bill.
And this is for only for Toronto residents. Like
Yeah, yeah,
Toronto residents. Like
yeah.
how far is all of the GTA or
Well, every utility has financial assistance programs. We, Toronto Hydro, work specifically with Neighborhood Information Post, who manages an array of financial assistance programs that may help customers who are falling behind or need assistance with their hydro account.
see? And I just wanted to make sure because some people like just because it says Toronto doesn't mean like all of Toronto.
Yeah, we're just strictly the city of Toronto, so anything on the outskirts would be a different utility.
Okay, I see. It's good to know. So these programs that you're mentioning, that could assist people that you tend to refer to neighbor information post to help them with. What are these programs specifically?
So, there's three main programs that we refer customers for specifically. So, a lot of people think that they can only get financial assistance programming if they're in arrears or at risk of disconnection. Um, and that's not 100% true. There's actually a really great program. It's called the Ontario Electricity Support Program, and you may hear it coined as OESP. This is a really great almost look at it like a preventative program where if you submit an application and you qualify based on the Ontario Energy Board low income threshold for your household income, which you can find on our website and the OEB's website, um, you would then be eligible for a credit automatically every month on your bill, anywhere from $35 to $75. So you don't have to be in arrears at all. So think about it, you have a $100 bill and then you can automatically drop it down by $35 every month. That's a huge help.
Like,
And
does add up.
yeah, and this would stay on your account as long as you're at the same premise, like you don't move, for up to 2 years. And for a senior citizen, it's up to 5 years before you actually have to reapply and it expires. So it's a
Oh,
really
and you
great
can
program.
always reply. Is there like any restrictions to reapplying?
No, we actually send out notifications to our customers 30 to 60 days before they're expiring to notify them your OESP is getting ready to expire. Please submit an application so that they're aware because sometimes,
Like,
out of sight, out of mind. So it's nice that we send that reminder.
do they this process to filling up the application? How long does it typically take?
We don't manage the application process internally at Toronto Hydro. So you can go right online and do it yourself through the Ontario Energy Support Program website. There's also links to it from our website and actual intake agency agents through NIP will help with that and facilitate the application process. But it's not very long at all. I think it's like a 2 to 3 page document that you fill out and you would just need to prove, your income and how many people live in your household and so on and so forth.
Is it the same application when you're reapplying, or is it
Yeah.
same
Yep.
approach?
Same
Yeah.
thing.
So
And
yeah, if you've done it once, you know what to do.
yeah, and you'd need like the bill to be in your name again, right? So just making sure that the Toronto Hydro bill is actually in your name and then you can apply for it for that as well. Then there's 2 other programs, that are geared specifically towards customers who are at risk of being disconnected or are falling behind and in arrears on their account. So, one of them is specifically the Low Energy Assistance Program. You, may hear it coined as LEAP. This here is a program again geared towards customers who are eligible low income and fall within that threshold, and they would be able to qualify if deemed eligible for up to a max of $650 paid on their account, or if they're an electrically heated home, it could be a max of $750.
Is this mm, like yearly or
It's a one-time annual grant that you can apply for if you fall behind, and in conjunction with that, you can apply for if you're eligible for an arrears payment arrangement. So, if they're behind in arrears for $1,000 and then they get 650, the remainder we could potentially put on arrears payment arrangement to spread it out over 16 months to make it a little bit more manageable, as well. And then there's the Emergency Energy Fund, also known as EEF. This is a one-time annual grant that customers may be eligible for. Again, if they're at risk of disconnection or falling behind and in arrears on their bill. This is managed by Neighborhood Information Post, and this is can be combined also with LEAP. So if customer is in arrears and has $1,000 that they need to pay in order to prevent a disconnection, let's say they could get $650 from LEAP and then the remainder perhaps from EEF to pay off that $1,000 balance. These financial assistance programs will only pay what is in arrears, though. So even if like they could possibly qualify for more, it would not leave an account in a credit state. So if you are falling behind $1,000, the financial assistance programs would only pay $1,000.
That makes sense. So they won't go past the bill that you have.
That's correct. Whereas Ontario Electricity Support Program, you could potentially, if you have low bills, let's say in the spring and fall, and you're receiving a $75 credit, but your bill is only $50 a month, you might run a $25 credit on some bills, and that's okay because then you might offset it in the winter, maybe when your bills are a little bit higher because of heating. So that's the kind of difference between those programs where OESP, you could run a potential credit on your bill, whereas LEAP and EEF, it will only pay the arrears.
Sense. Don't worry too much, everyone. I know that we just talked about three different programming. When you do come and have to sign up, we will probably recommend you the best solution to whatever you're going through. So this is good stuff to know, but like I said, don't stress too much about those details.
We'll help walk you through it, and especially in collaboration with NIP, they know these financial assistance programs inside out and backwards, and will find what works for you specifically once you're going through that application process.
Well, thank you so much for teaching us so much about energy and how to reserve and how to make sure to stay on our bills and making sure we never have to get to that point of disconnection and some interesting facts about how everything works.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to touch on that we didn't get the chance to?
I think I'd just like to say that it's never too late to reach out. I mean, we really want to promote our customers to reach out to us as early as possible. Disconnection is absolutely our last resort, and we really do want to work with our customers and set them up for success. We want them to be able to manage their bills. Affordability is a big thing. You know, it is quite expensive out there right now for anybody, and so the best way we can do that is help our customers in energy efficiency, payment arrangements, financial assistance. And, we make sure that we get out there in the community more and doing these kind of things like a podcast and community outreach. And, check us out online on any of the social media channels because we're actively promoting these programs as well. And in the winter time, we're also handing out financial assistance flyers. To our customers to make sure that they're aware of the financial assistance programs, not just, when it's May to November when there's potential for a disconnection, but let's get ahead of it and make sure that you're aware and educate customers on what's out there for them because the awareness is really needed to make sure that people get in the door and start that application process early so that we can get ahead of it.
Thank you so much once again.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. One last question. As everyone knows, the World Cup is happening right now. Who do you think is gonna win, Ashley?
Well, being that my last name is Pereira, I have to go for Ronaldo Cristiano and go for Portugal. Although I am Team Canada too, and they did the 1-1. That was huge. That was a big game, and I'm really proud of our country for that. But I'm gonna vote for Portugal.
Portugal. Yeah, and this is probably gonna be his last World Cup, so let's hope for the best.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be something that'll go down in history, I think for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming and joining us today, Ashley. Everything will be linked below, and I hope to see you in the neighborhood.